Welcome, everyone, to another exciting edition of Selling Point. I'm excited to meet an old friend who now is not only a public relations specialist but is in the media. You know,
Yes.
if you watch ZBC TV at all, you're going to recognize this face, and that's none other than Uncle Kurt. So he's not only a marketer, he's a public relations specialist, he's a
Yes.
journalist,
Mm.
very good with mass media
Mm.
communications, and he also is a professional MC. You know,
Mm.
he has done events of all kinds. It's a pleasure
Sure.
to have him. I know he feels at home
Sure.
naturally to be behind the microphone and the
Sure.
screen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
welcome to Selling Point, man. How you
Thank you.
doing?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, Innocent.
Great, great,
Yes,
great.
indeed.
Yeah. So I'm happy to have you. I think I wanted you to come for the longest time. I think it's been months.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What makes it interesting is the fact that, Selling Point, I mean, I've always believed that this was a space that I saw your videos on TikTok some time ago.
Oh yeah, I
I
remember.
always believed that the radio space, not just for me, but also for you. So
No,
I'm
thank
happy
you.
to see you shine in your natural element, I'd like to believe.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes,
awesome, man.
indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've worked with a couple of brands right now. You're working with I know
Absolutely.
Skylake as well.
Absolutely, yes. I
Yeah.
am currently with Skylake Boreholes as the PR and communications manager.
Wow.
What a time to be alive. I never saw myself in
Yeah.
getting involved in borehole drilling, but here I am today.
Wow, no, that
Yeah.
must be exciting
Hmm.
actually.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so you want us to talk about media and
Yes,
public
indeed.
relations. Maybe you
Mm.
can begin by unpacking what it is that you want us to learn about that.
Absolutely. So I would really begin at a place where, media as a whole
Yeah.
has been understood. I think a lot of people just think media is your traditional, television, your traditional radio, your
Oh yeah.
traditional print media. I would like to believe even here where we're sitting at AMH, it was literally based on those three things.
Oh yeah.
But, as times have progressed, as seasons have blossomed, we've seen the mushrooming of, this animal we now call the social media or the digital media space.
True.
And it's become so important. In fact, it's actually taking over the reins in terms of media distribution. And I just want to pay attention to those particular four pillars, but at the same time, giving cognizance to each and every one of them in their individual element.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
like the fact that you're talking about what's actually happening now
Yes.
and the near future.
Yes.
Because I know you are somebody who's very passionate about digital media.
Yes.
You're passionate about young people as well. I
Absolutely.
mean, you are very young.
Yeah.
And being a face that people can
I
see
wouldn't
on
say
TV.
24 is young, but let's go on.
He had to say his age. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is pretty young for someone to be presenting.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes,
it is.
yes,
And
yes.
so I think you bring in a fresh view on things
Hmm.
that can relate and connect with audiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe just before you actually unpack, just give us a bit of a background of how you actually got into media.
Okay.
Because somebody will say, okay, how do you actually be a face on TV? How
Yes.
do you actually stand before people as an MC
Yeah.
and do PR?
So funny enough, one of my debut appearances, or can I say, well, let's call it an appearance, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
on radio, was actually here in this very studio. I remember.
Oh, wow.
It was with a young man called Craig Topeni. So
Okay.
big shout out to Craig.
Shout out
you
if
li-
Craig is watching.
if Craig is watching and
Yeah.
listening at the same time. It was on a show called What Craig Says. We talked about the youth and their role in terms of making decisions, which was excellent. It was a terrific interview. I still watch it to this day. But I would date back really, like, in terms of backtrack my history. When we really spoke about when we really spoke about being on radio for the first time was during my teen years. It was a show called Teen Connect on Star FM.
Oh, nice.
And that's how I entered the game. And it was during my university years. I was just literally called up, hey man, do you want to try this thing? And I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the trajectory thereafter, because we were called back more often often. Eventually, Star FM trusted us enough to have our own show, which was called The Heat Press, with my brother Willard Kachere, as well as
Oh yeah, I know Will.
yes, Will
Yeah.
K, as well as you know him from the 8 to 5 hub,
Yeah,
don't
from
you?
the hub, yeah.
From the hub, and I worked very well as well with a lot of close comrades who would come to the studio. So I really much gradually got into the space, and eventually we found ourselves on television, and
Oh yeah, that's great.
Trending with Curtly is now a show that
Exactly.
is well anticipated on television, and we,
Oh
we
yeah.
thank the Lord for His grace on that. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Uh,
Like, how did the MC part start? 'Cause
Okay,
you're
so
talking about
yeah,
radio.
yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So emceeing now, funny. It's always like a little coincidence slash miracle slash graceful event that always happens. But with emceeing, I was literally asked to pray. I remember it was a family
Oh.
function, and I was very, very young. I was asked to give a prayer. I don't know whether it was the closing or opening. I'll have to check with my mother on that one. But I was asked to pray, and what I remember is before I prayed, I wanted to give context of where my prayer was coming from. So I kind of made it a little bit of a mini sermon. At my very young age,
Oh, wow.
I mean, right now I'm short, but trust me, I was way shorter.
Yeah.
And I shared that little preaching, and I remember after that preaching, one of my uncles, I think it was an uncle of mine who has a very influential position in the church, one of our uncle's churches, and he said no, he should come. I need to mentor him.
Wow.
In terms of just this general speaking. He wasn't speaking to the fact that I want to preach or whatever, but just the general speaking and the grooming. And it became a journey from there. A few years down the line, I found myself emceeing again a family function. So it was always these opportunities through family first that came, and I would forever grateful for that. I went all the way to Nyanga to MC a family wedding at a very young age once again, and
You
this is
MC'd a wedding.
a wedding, and that was one of my primary first events. And then it was up from there. I became eventually the host, resident host or resident MC at the University of Zimbabwe, which is where I studied for college. And and from there I decided we should make this thing commercial, and it was quite an
move.
exciting journey to start off with. Now it's just busy, it's not boring, it's exciting still. It's taxing, yes, but I love the energy it comes with. It also keeps me in check in terms of my speaking capabilities.
Wow.
Yes,
So-
yes.
Yeah, because people can. People think that speaking is something that comes naturally.
Yes, no. Practice makes permanent, and I saw that
I like
happen.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Practice makes permanent. You can never have. Yes, talent is there, but talent needs to be nurtured. Talent needs to be groomed, and that's exactly how we started. Like I said to you, there was that uncle of mine who said, "Let's take him
Let's
through
take
the
him through.
ropes." Yes,
That is great,
yes,
man.
that's how the MC element started. I know your next question will be,
Public relations.
how did the PR come
Naturally.
up?
Yeah.
So by virtue of having these kind of occupations, or these kind of I would call them gifts and talents, because that's truly what they are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in every spectrum, I don't know what it is. I would say it's a Zimbabwean mentality that once someone is behind the mic or behind the camera, they are seen as an expert in public relations. Immediately, by virtue of them doing that. And it's not what I read. That's not what I read. That's not what I studied. I am totally different in terms of qualification. I'm in a different field altogether.
yeah.
But I would say that in terms of PR, it was also the grooming aspects, the self-teaching, the constantly pushing yourself. The outliers, the 10,000 hour rule, which is something I
That's
totally
important.
believed I could achieve. And I am sitting where I'm sitting, not because of talent now, but because of the hours I put in terms of trying to realize and research and actualize what people believed and saw in me. So that PR aspect, I would say, one thing people don't understand is reputation is important, and I want to say this
Oh,
now.
that is
Yes, reputation is important. What we always say at radio, even on TV, is you are as good as your last bulletin or your last broadcast. Yeah,
Wow.
so that's literally the best thing that you can uphold yourself to sell yourself to the next person. And I would say this now publicly, that even myself as a brand, I've faced so much opposition in terms of maintaining that reputation, but
Wow.
trust me, it has not deterred me. I have made it a point to, so I would say I've made it a point to uphold and to make sure that I rally on, so to speak. I would also say that, the training that, or the grooming that has put me to where I am today has allowed me to be steadfast, even in terms
good.
of prayer, in terms of belief, and has also trained me to also treat other people's reputations very important,
Oh, yeah.
as a very important element. So my clients, therefore, have a case study of me, and which should be very, very good
Yeah.
in terms of building and branding. Yeah, yeah.
One interesting thing about you is the nickname.
Yes.
Because I know you're mentioning Uncle, so
Absolutely,
naturally,
absolutely.
how did Uncle Kurt come to be a thing?
So Uncle Kurt came to be a thing. Let's see. That story dates back. It dates back to 2015. I am what can you call them? A steward or a head of dorm, a dorm leader. That's what they call them.
Yeah.
Yes, a dorm leader. That's the particular word we used.
Yeah.
So I think I was in my lower forms, and I was leading an entire dorm. And one of the
Yeah.
dorms that I was leading was near the vice principal's house residence, and the vice principal had a son. The vice
Alright.
principal all the way in Gweru there. So shout out to all the MCC Eagles who are watching.
MCC
So,
Eagles.
yes, indeed.
Shout out.
Yes, indeed. So at MCC all the way in Gweru there, our vice principal, Mr. Sachinda, he had a son. And the son would always come. At some point, I think I would just share sweets with him. At some point, he just decided, no, you know what? Let me get this guy's name so that when I'm looking for my sweets,
Yeah.
it's better I address him by his name so that he gives me more. And essentially, when you want that respect from a kid, and you're also a kid, you'll be like, nah, my name is Uncle. Call me Uncle, kid.
I see.
So he then ran around saying, I'm looking for Uncle Curtly, and literally in a few moments the whole school had this whole Uncle Curtly thing going on. And I will not lie and say that I wasn't a proponent of that brand or that name itself. I really pushed it, but it then kind of went, when you have an experiment and then it goes haywire in the lab.
You have your Coke and Mentos, and
It just goes all the way. I'm like, these are just very, very simple products or inputs. But it was that's how it started. And it's been cool because recently, as of about a year and a half ago, I became an actual uncle, which excited me. My older sister had a child, and I was
God.
a son. And then she had a daughter following that. So I'm a substantial uncle.
No, I like that. No, thanks for introducing yourself. I think
Absolutely.
we're gonna take a short break, and then after the short break, we're actually gonna get back and then start talking about what it is you want to break down the actual pillars.
Yes, indeed.
So we'll take a break right
Wouldn't
Thank you so much.
you like to know when you're about to die? For every jog or walk, you add 1 year to your life expectancy. And for every cough or sneeze, you subtract 1 year from your life expectancy. You can forget all of that nonsense and join Zororo Pumulani's repatriation and funeral plan from 79 rands per month. And you can get cover of up to 30,000 rands to anywhere in Zimbabwe. Zororo Pumulani, powered by doves, for the ones you love.
Okay, so we're back at Selling Point. We're having a good time with Uncle Curtly Gwindi. And since today is a Wednesday, we want to celebrate Zimbabwe Working Wednesday, which is inspired, of course, by the International Labour Organization in collaboration with the government of Zimbabwe, Employers Confederation of Zimbabwe, or MCOS, and Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions, ZCTU, all working together to promote decent work and the future of work. I mean, we all know promoting decent work is key for everyone, and we must work towards this in all sectors. So this is our Zimbabwe Working Wednesday mentioned for today. So we have Uncle Kurt, and he just explained how we got into public relations, into media, and then into emceeing as well. So unpack for us what you want to teach us about media and relations now, the pillars.
Okay, so absolutely. Thank you once again for having me, Innocent.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to be sharing with the viewers and listeners today things that you don't know, because I know
Yeah.
this is particularly our space. So I would really want to begin first by talking about the importance of a brand and how the particular idea of saying that you want to have a brand, because
It's important.
yeah, it is, and a brand is just not like a logo. People think that, okay, I've got a logo, so I am literally a brand now. Let me literally stamp on a logo on my shirt. Let me stamp on a logo on my mask or whatever. No, that's not the idea. The idea is, we are talking about selling. Today we are at the selling point, right?
Yeah.
And we are talking about selling something. So I would like to believe that once you have a brand, the first question you should ask is, one, what is my brand about? Two, do I have knowledge about the thing that I am saying is my brand?
My brand. Oh,
And
yeah.
thirdly, how am I going to monetize it? Those are the particular
That's important.
pillars. Yes, those are the particular pillars that you would say. So getting into that, where we then merge with your brand in terms of public relations, is we then give your brand a voice. I would like to believe that with all the clients and all the people I've worked with, I would say that everything that has to do with your particular brand needs to have a particular face, needs to have a particular voice. I've been a brand ambassador for multiple organizations and establishments, some which are even starting, and we've watched them grow to the extent that they're like, okay, we don't know how it would have went any other way without,
I'm just remembering.
Yes.
That, when it comes to image consultancy,
Yes,
and
indeed.
modeling.
Yes, indeed.
You've been there.
I've been
got
in
to-
that circuit.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am currently, I'm very proud. I'm proud Venice Menswear brand
great.
ambassador, as well as Axcure Sneakers.
Nice.
They have both endorsed me particularly for my television program and even
great.
events that are outside of that. So I'm grateful for those partnerships and connections, because they allow us to kind of,
That's
grow.
what a brand does.
Absolutely. A brand then evolves and also synergizes with others to become stronger.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like literally a tumble effect, a ripple effect, call it what you want.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So coming back down to what I was saying, I would like to believe each and every part of the story of a brand begins with those three things. And when you then come to the point of how you want to monetize it, we then protect you in terms of public relations. We give you a voice. We give you an anchor. We allow you to be protected in terms of reputation. Reputation management is also very, very important, because there's a lot of things that happen, especially like we were talking about earlier, outside of the media space that is the TV and radio. We also have the digital space, which is the social space, which people are very social. They're faceless when it comes to social media, so they can say what they want. And at times when they say what they want, our responsibility now is to safeguard and protect ourselves. Because if you want to stand, or if you want to be a formidable person in terms of your brand, in terms of your product, in terms of who you are, you need to always make sure that you safeguard yourself. So that's what the public relations element is about. And you also need to understand that communication, some people don't know how to communicate. Some people don't know how to message. You are aware of copywriting itself. Copywriting is very important in this digital age. And copywriting now has, we have now expanded it, or we have now branched it out to digital media. But guess what? We did have copywriters who were the ones who wrote the speeches, who were the ones who wrote the memos, who were the ones who wrote the etc. So quite a fascinating turn of events there. But I would like to believe that each and every one of the products and brands that everyone has deserves a sort of attention in terms of PR.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So because I've watched people like whose whole career has been wrecked just by a social media post.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or a company can go
Yes,
down.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
Your products, no one wants to buy them.
Absolutely.
And just because somebody said, "Look, this product is not making me happy."
Yes.
Yeah. Or they got a product which had defects in
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
that can drop sales.
Yeah.
For the next 2 months. Yeah.
And you always need to know how to manage it. How to manage it. Why I say how to manage it is because some people come through saying this particular product is not cohesive with what they're saying, false advertising, what this, that. But at times there may be false allegations, Innocent.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
True.
and that happens a lot. And one dimension I actually want you to think about is a situation like that, where something is being said but it's not true, but because someone has a specific following,
Ooh.
or someone has those numbers,
Yeah.
the numbers that really attract and pull, that whatever they say goes. And whoever they are, we don't care, but we want to move with what this person is saying.
Exactly.
And because of that, you would find it's misconstrued and taken out of proportion. So as a response strategy, or as a PR department, or a PR establishment, you now need to know who to respond to, how to respond, and where to respond.
I see.
Yes, those are the three
So,
important.
I'm guessing there are times you don't need to give a response.
Exactly. That also that comes in with the who, because are you going to respond to them, or you're going to talk to the public, or you're not even going to talk, because silence is also a message.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a very powerful message. And I think even in terms of some of our reputation management, especially in the work that I've done for specific brands and products, I would also strongly believe in that silence, because at times the truth even comes out, or the real way in which the message is supposed to be brought out will be brought out, perhaps even by a non-entity, someone who has nothing to do with you guys, but they're just speaking on their behalf. So it always works out well. And I would say that in terms of maintaining brands, we have really tried our best to do it in the right way. Yeah,
because I'm looking at the space that you're in. It's competitive now.
Yes.
Yeah, like for PR in bore drilling.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody might say, oh, why would you need PR?
Absolutely.
for
Yes.
bore?
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So we are the fastest growing ball drilling company right now, I would like to believe. And I'm very proud to be representing that, because it also allows us to have systems and structures in that space. Why I say so is because, yes, the question then becomes why? Like, don't you just need like a marketing and sales and operations, and that's literally, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But because the market is so saturated now, and we do have like scammers, we do have agents, we do have all kinds of people who come in and try and tarnish our image, we have to hold fort. And we have to have some kind of control in terms of even how the media portrays us and how the public portrays us.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, describe that in a day. What would that look like?
In a
Like,
day.
public relations and protecting a brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the PR.
A day in the life of Curtly. Yeah.
A day in the life of Curtly. I would. It's very, it's an up and down program. I would say that initially, I mean, it was a very not relaxed, but routine day, and the routine day would then involve me starting off my day like every other normal human being at maybe perhaps 6 or 5:30, 6, and grasping and drafting and talking and literally brainstorming for the day. But once that's happened, once that's out of the way, we then get into the actual work. So once we're at the office, we are now, just checking emails. We are now making sure that things are in place, and we do have specific targets and strategic set goals that we have,
Right.
and we make sure that we execute them through the rest of the day. But like I said, that was the initial plan, or that was the idea. But now, because we have a television program so early in the morning,
Yeah.
I need to be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes, particularly on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I need to make sure that I've scripted by 5. By 5, by 8 o'clock, I'm done with my show. I am now heading to the office to ensure that everything else that I was saying earlier on is done. It's about execution, 100%.
Oh, right.
I wouldn't like to get into the nitty-gritties because it's a lot of dirty work. It's a dirty industry, by the way. And sometimes I'm even required to be on site in a work suit, in a helmet.
I see.
Yeah, so it's quite exciting because it's also given me the exposure. I mean, like I was saying earlier, that you never think you're going to be in a specific space, but when you're in it, you learn to love it all the same.
Oh, awesome.
Absolutely.
So you've spoken about how many pillars now? Brand, PR?
Yes.
Yeah. What's
Yes.
the next one?
So the next pillar that I would like to address or talk about is perhaps the general being behind the microphone. So this is either television or radio.
Okay.
I know for a fact that my initiation into radio was kind of like unorthodox. Some people want to actually study for it, which then comes back down to the 10,000 hours. Are you willing to go the whole way? Or are you willing to say that? Because so many people come into my inbox on my phones and they say to me, Curtly, I studied my media and journalism. I'm now ready to be on air. And I'm like, no. That's not it. That's not the way to go. Curtly himself, who you're speaking to, is a philosopher. He's not even like a qualified in terms of the full-on journey. I didn't take on the full-on journalism path. But you then say to yourself, how best can I make pragmatic everything that I was studying in terms of university? I mean, it's just 3 years. And even in those 3 years, you could have just been doing assignments. I mean, casually, lackadaisically going through it, but not necessarily grasping the key elements. How I would say to you,
So you're saying it's so easy for someone to get a qualification and not qualified for the actual job.
Not qualified. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Because the dedication you put, I'm not even going to sidetrack though. I'm not even going to discredit those who have gone the media path. It's just unfortunate that during the time I was at university, there was no media and journalism. It literally started just after we had joined the institution.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I mean, but by his will, we still are going on forward in terms of achieving the necessary paperwork for us to be where we are. So I would say that everything that is encompassed, or every role that someone has to play, I mean, especially behind the camera, behind the mic. This is specifically applying to television and radio, or everything, even just video casting or having a podcast. So many people want to have podcasts these days.
Wow. So you just mentioned something special.
Yes.
So someone doesn't need to start on radio.
Yes.
If they're in college, they can actually just start a podcast, record on the phone.
Absolutely.
And actually just start
pumping
out content.
They can start pumping out content, and you'll find that through that route, it's a bit scenic, but it's correct in the sense that you give yourself the confidence. When you get into that interview at a radio station, at a television broadcasting house or whatever, if they come to AMH here, they're going to say, okay, for me, I personally have this thing. This is my baby. I did this podcast myself, and I'm able to show you that A, B, C, D, I went through this. And it's easier to trust someone like that with a whole studio like the way you have been, because of being able to. I know you had your podcast, did you not?
I did.
Yes.
I did.
If I remember correctly, I used
did.
to listen to those. And it's not just that. Like, literally, I can have my TikTok channel.
Yeah.
You have your TikTok channel, and you're like, hey, bruh, me, I did this TikTok. Look how many views I amassed. Or look how many followers I've now garnered in the past 6 months. And it's better that way. it's more exciting that way because you give someone, you are excited about your product and they become so excited about your product to the extent that they want to trust you with their product.
Yeah.
So
So you're literally saying the barrier to entry now has been lowered.
It's
because
been
of
lowered
digital media.
because of digital
Yeah,
media.
so even if somebody doesn't have funding to
Yes.
go to college,
Yes.
you can start somewhere.
Yes, ability and capacity. I trust that very much in terms of broadcasting. I'm not going to say, this is not a call, just in case people think it's a call to action from Uncle Curtly for young people to start gallivanting in social media and media without saying, Curtly said I don't need to go to college to do. No.
Yeah.
No, let's do the necessary things because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that
I
actually
love how you put that. Do
yes,
the necessary
things. Yes,
Yeah.
do the necessary things. It's very necessary. Sometimes it's unconventional. Sometimes it's unorthodox, but it's necessary, and that's the
Yeah.
key thing. And I would say each and every one of the young people, especially the young people, because they're the ones I've seen who are hungry more than ever. Or maybe it's just because my network has grown and it's drawn me into the kind of people that I'm encountering now. But I would say it's very important at this present time to have noise being made about, just believing in yourself. And the only way you can begin is to begin.
The only way you can begin is to begin.
You can't say that I'm waiting for this, I'm waiting for that. Young people face a lot of things, like you were saying, pointing out correctly, that funding. Okay, I don't have studio time, I don't have this and that. Whatever it is, you have a smartphone. It's a smartphone for a reason. It's not like almost 2 kgs for nothing. It's now something that moves in your pocket, but make use of it. Yeah? Yeah. And another thing I'll just call on young people to do as well in terms of television and radio is to always make sure that they practice because, like I was saying, practice makes permanent.
I did this, it was recent. Like you're mentioning practice. So we were doing this TV ad for a client of ours. We have an advertising agency.
Yes, indeed.
Right? I did not read the script.
Yeah.
I did not. I depended on natural talent. I'm just gonna nail it.
Yes, sir.
I was there in front of the camera and I'm like, it's not coming out. Like, where's the power? Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
It took me like 2 hours.
So you needed to gabble.
Yeah.
The
so
gabbling aspect
now
was
I
very
like, no,
important.
guys, get me a teleprompter.
That's what you
because-
needed to do there. You needed to do
because
that.
it's not in my head. I thought it was natural, but then
Yeah, no. Practice makes permanent, and trust me, never be complacent. It's never an issue of being complacent, no matter if you're the greatest. I was reading the other day about a particular character in broadcasting, but outside of overseas, and he was talented. He was very gifted, but guess what? His gift was the death of him because he was so complacent in terms of how he believed he should go about all his work and all his scripting and all his programs, etc. And it became so toxic to a point that he lost everything because of just not practicing. So practicing is very important, and it was quite an interesting story. I'll share it with you one day. It needs a whole another episode.
So literally, if you don't nurture talent,
absolutely,
it's gonna die.
Yeah, nature and not nurture. Nurture and not nature.
Nature,
Nurture and not nature leads to excessive success. Nature and not nurture, yes, it's success, but it's borderline. It needs that extra push which comes from nurture.
Oh yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah.
We're gonna just take another short break, and we'll be right back with Selling Point with Uncle Kurt.
Wouldn't you like to know when you're about to die? For every jog or walk, you add 1 year to your life expectancy. And for every cough or sneeze, you subtract 1 year from your life expectancy. You can forget all of that nonsense and join Zororo Pumulani's repatriation and funeral plan from 79 rands per month. And you can get cover of up to 30,000 rands to anywhere in Zimbabwe. Zororo Pumulani, powered by doves, for the ones you love.
Welcome back to Selling Point. Today we're with Uncle Kurt, PR specialist. He's into media and is an MC as well. He has gone into modeling. He's a brand expert, marketing, PR, public relations, media, and brand. So we've been talking about a lot of that, and now we want to dig a little deeper into public relations.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So you can unpack that for us.
Absolutely. So I actually want to talk about the Curtly Gwindi brand.
Okay,
yes,
great.
yes, indeed.
All right.
Because I believe charity begins at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
My first ever sample test in terms of PR was on my own brand, and
That is good.
yeah. I'm so happy for that because I've learned a lot at my some people call it big age, but like you said, I told you I'm very young. I'm just 24 years old.
Wow.
I managed to at this age to create a brand. I'm so happy. I'm so proud about the Curtly Gwindi brand. Why I say so is because we've been through so many ups and downs. And when I say we, it's because I have a team that we rally with or that we move with.
Oh,
and
wow.
in terms
Great.
of making sure that we uphold the value of the CG brand, I owe it to some of the teammates and team members. And
Awesome.
when it then comes down to the PR aspect of it, ups and downs were our daily bread.
Yeah.
And I would like to believe that through it all, I've tried my best. We've tried our best to be as formidable and unrelenting as possible.
Awesome.
Yes, and I would say as well that through also growing as a brand, and this now applies to just about everybody who has something they want to grow. Through growing as a brand, you face a lot of opposition. You face a lot of detractors. You face a lot of, enemies coming left, right, and center. Yeah, and we are on Selling Point today. These people will even stop you from selling, so to speak. Selling, so to speak. So when in my particular sphere and area of influence, you won't sell, you won't go to an MC event, you won't be able to perhaps have someone buy the suits that I model, etc. Because there's people who want to taint your brand. But guess what? The key thing is rising above it all.
Yeah.
Rising above it all. I was reading the other day from a place of reflection that was telling me that the only reason why you can see so far is because you've stood on the shoulders of giants. So
That's
besides rising above it all, it's also having the right people around you. The right people around you. And having the right people around you will not only even enhance your public relations, but will even give you better thinking patterns or better direction of thought and trains of thought. Yeah. So you won't get muffled into, that maybe the noise that's happening around you. You cut through it through having that.
Yeah.
And that then boils down as well to very excellent public relations, because once you synergize around the right people, trust me, you can never go wrong. Yeah. Even if a crane crashes on your brand, which it has. But guess what? You stay standing, right? We're here today. And it's very as well important to make sure that in terms of clarity and conveyance of your message, you always need that right, opportune and grand positioning. So I'm grateful for a platform like this.
Great,
I'm
awesome.
very, very grateful for a platform like this because it allows us to also share our stories. Selling Point, I would like to believe, will even go far. So this is me speaking prophetically for you.
I like the way that you're putting God into everything, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No, it's very important.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. At this point in time as well, I'll even say, if you're dealing with a personal brand like myself, not just a brand or a product that is a business, but even if it's a personal brand, if your name is even tied to the brand, it's very important as well to just make sure that there's no crane that comes crashing on it. And how you do it is also just asking for spiritual guidance. And
that's good.
and that gives you direction as well.
So beyond talent and everything, we need some spiritual power.
Yes, indeed. There's a
goes
higher
beyond.
power.
Yeah.
There's a higher power. He's always looking over us. He's always looking down on us. And and he's always taking care of us. He guides our steps. There's a scripture that actually says, he orders our steps.
Yeah.
Yes.
What would you say to someone who says, you know what, you're talking about cranes crashing down a brand? That has happened already.
Yeah.
What do I do from there? I know you're saying God comes through.
Yes.
And that you can pick yourself up. But what do I do now?
Yes,
I'm in the trenches.
I'm not Papa, so I definitely will speak from a strategic point of view, and with the expertise that we come with as well. One would very, very much firstly need to pick themselves up in dust. The world owes you nothing. It's just unfortunate that the world owes you nothing. So when the world comes at you, remember, they can step on you, they'll trample you, they will hit you with that crane, and trust me, they may even spit on you, but they don't owe you anything. So it's not their responsibility to pick you up, Innocent. It's not their responsibility at all. So guess what? You need to pick yourself up and dust yourself up. See the light at the end of the tunnel. It's very important, and trust me, it will help you, it will assist you, it will make sure that you have the right manner of communication in terms of how perhaps the brand wants to be communicated from there. But after that, it's always important as well to reflect, ensure that the same mistake is not repeated. Whatever it was, whatever the crane was, ensure that the same mistake is not repeated. How you do that is to analyze, to strategically develop and analyze. So having the right amount of people, the right correct people around you will also assist in that regard. And it will always ensure that the circuit continues to flow, because you didn't come this far to come this far, right? Yes, indeed.
Is there a way that you can see the crane coming?
Projecting the crane.
How do I avoid stuff like that happening before it does? Is there a preventative measure?
Measure. No. In this life, I would say, personally, in my opinion, one day zvinomuka zvakakwidza, excuse my shona. The other day zvinogonomuka zvakadzika. But guess what? You rally through it all.
Because I know some people in public relations will say, hey, you can only
manage it when it comes. Yes.
But I guess there are principles that could also
absolutely
help guide.
So the pillars will always guide you, which is why you'll find even when we begin to work with somebody, we always ask them for their belief systems. That's your vision, your mission, your strategy to get to the next place, what you believe in, your core values. Because those things...
I think you'll be surprised how many of us actually don't
understand the importance of that. We
never sit down to actually say, okay,
your vision board. Get to your vision board, and your vision board will be your guide. It will be your guideline in terms of everything.
What's a vision board? Somebody might be asking.
Yes, somebody may ask. If you're tuned in and you're listening, your vision board is particularly something that you need in terms of directing yourself and positioning yourself in this lifetime. I think that's the most general answer I can give you. And it's going to be your strategy to level up in your existence. So I would call it your strategy to level up in your existence, and also your guidelines just to direct your path. And your path would always be aligned to that vision board. If you are doing something that's not within your vision board, you have lost your path, basically.
Wow.
And
heard people say a blunt pencil
yes, indeed,
is better than a sharp memory. So you're talking about vision board. So someone actually has to sit down, write down. This is what we are about. This is what we need.
I would switch on my phone and show you like how many notes I just literally any time of the day, any moment of the of the night. Actually, I would literally just jot down. And if I have to then expand the idea, I expand it based on the fact.
I like the way
wrote
that you're
down.
so talking about your phone, because people get the idea that you have to get a piece of
No,
paper,
no.
pen, or some
in
big
this
that you
digital
draw
age,
on.
Innocent. There's so many ways to do it. I mean, if you are blessed enough to have a board, chalkboard, that would be. I mean, slow clap to you. If you have the chalkboard, that's excellent. But if you have the vision board, once again, you always are ordered in terms of your steps. You won't let many things get ahead of you, which is very important in this lifetime, because there's a lot of noise that you need to cut through. And it's very important that people just continue on their path, have their direction, and it would be very, very. It's actually more paramount to have it happen that way. Yeah.
Wow. So, hey, with public relations, does that also apply to small businesses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it seems like we usually think PR is for these large organizations which have a big reputation.
Which is something that people need to take cognizance of, acknowledging that. I would actually say that it's good that you've asked, because a lot of losses have happened even in that particular SME sector because of that. The small to medium enterprises, the small businesses, they need that voice, whether it's not like you employing someone full time, but you have that the same
actually,
way.
that's the sector driving our economy.
Yes,
I
indeed.
mean, small businesses.
Yes. And I would say the same way you like outsource an accountant to just come do your books 2 minutes and then he goes. It's the same way you need to ensure that you have your PR come in, and he just analyzes things on the ground, does his research. It's always a process. The steps that we take are always like your audit, your brand audit, etc. It comes with a lot of grasping and understanding as well, which I feel like hiring a PR expert is not a loss at all.
Yeah. So does PR also work for personal brands, and how does that?
It does apply to personal brands.
So someone like myself, I can have someone handle my
your PR, because your social media image. I won't lie to you. People are no netter. Image yago, sometimes if you're someone who's busy all the time, you need to hire. So your social media manager can also just have a little bit of PR background, which will ensure the situation is always like leveled up in terms of making sure that everything just flies
And I think
correctly.
it's actually more powerful because now with technology, you can actually listen in about what people are saying. They call that social listening.
Yes, social listening.
There's certain tools you can use. If somebody mentions your name, you can get a notification and know, okay, this is what people are saying about Kurt.
Yes. So social listening is very, very important, and that's the correct way to actually put it, and to ensure that also your brand is protected 100%. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm really, really excited about the PR space, and I'm particularly excited as well about the digital media space and how it's embracing PR. Because I spoke to one expert actually from one of the reputable companies in Zimbabwe. I had a meeting with him about a month and a half ago, and he was telling me that it's a dying industry. But my argument was yes.
He said it's a dying industry.
He said it's a dying industry, and I almost walked out of the room.
Why did he say that?
He said it's a dying industry because a lot of people are now shifting towards the marketing route, and the marketing route then encompasses or blankets everything. And I said no. There's no umbrella in terms of PR because PR is standalone. I even do not appreciate organizations that link PR and marketing because those are two independent establishments on their own. So I'm so happy that the digital media space is teaching people that public relations is very, very important all the same.
Yeah, because I mean, the typical thing is when people think about public relations, they think, okay, somebody who can speak and somebody who looks cute, whether male or female.
Yes.
That's what comes into people's heads.
100%. That's always
sophisticated looking, sophisticated sounding person.
Absolutely.
That's the understanding of
That's
PR.
Totally it.
But I like the fact that you're talking about the fact that it has to do with protecting reputation.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so is there any last words that you'd like to give us? We're basically out of time now.
Okay. That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. For somebody who says, okay, I'm hearing you talked about media and public relations, and you spoke about emceeing and speaking.
Yes.
So what would you say to me if I want to get into that space?
This space?
Yeah.
I would say the sky is the limit. That's the first thing. The limit as to how far you can go. The limit as to how much you can achieve, and the limit is as to how far you can achieve within the space that you want. So this is not particular to someone like you, Innocent, who wants to be in the speaking space, right? This is particular to everybody who is tuned in The first step you need to just take is have your humility. Accept that you want to learn and you want to grow. That way you'll be able to activate. That way you'll be able to apply the 10,000 hours. And that way you'll be able to be great. I mean, the last words that I'll obviously leave with you is from my favorite speaker of all time, one I listen to very, very religiously. And I take notes from him, Eric Thomas, who says, be phenomenal or be forgotten. You have two options in this life. And if you want to make a difference, all you have to do is make a decision.
Wow.
Yes, you need to make a decision. So you have to have a key line that you say, okay, I'm drawing the line here.
Yeah.
I'm making a decision. I'm going to change this. I'm going to do this. And that way you will be great.
Wow.
100%.
Be phenomenal or be forgotten.
Yes,
wow.
indeed.
Eric Thomas. So
Yes.
It's been a wonderful interview, man.
Thank you,
We should
thank
have
you.
you back sometime.
Yeah.
I've been encouraged and learned a couple of things.
Yes.
Yeah, about media and public relations.
Yes.
To our audience who's listening, thank you guys for hanging out with us until the very end. See you guys next week for another edition of Selling Point.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.